Welcome, Stelio Mattheos. This is an interview that we have for the beginning of our new enterprise, Feldenkrais First. And so you're the first person to be interviewed for Feldenkrais First. So
Oh, it's an honor. Well, thank you for having me. Hope I can be of assistance today.
well, why don't you take a moment and tell us a little bit about how it is that you and I came to meet each other?
So last year, I guess I was struggling with hip troubles and groin troubles and not feeling my best on the ice at all. And I guess my dad works for Adam Oates and his company, Oates Sports Group, and you had helped Adam in the past, and Adam spoke really highly of just your knowledge, and he really thought that you could really help me. So he basically put us in touch, and we talked on the phone, and I was already somewhat familiar with the Feldenkrais method, but it was a pretty it was a life-changing experience, I would say, when you came to Chicago that in what was it, November, and
Yes, I think so.
We got to meet, and I got to get on the table with you, and then that was kind of the start of this journey for me.
So we should let people know that you're a professional hockey player. You've been drafted by one of the top NHL teams, but you've been playing in the American Hockey League, and you had some serious injuries and other difficulties. Can you tell the people a little bit about some of the struggles you've had? You started off with
Yeah,
it hasn't been an easy road for you.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, so like you said, I was drafted by Carolina Hurricanes when I was 18, and signed a contract. Ended up playing in their minor league team. Got called up for the playoffs when I was 19, and then we actually won the playoffs that year. So it was a really great experience for me. My first taste of pro, and um, 2 days before I turned 20, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, and that was a pretty hard blow for me at that time. Had never dealt with anything like that in my life, and I had to go through chemotherapy for 3 months. I was able to come back and play that season, but I was having trouble on the ice. I wasn't feeling healthy yet, so I actually needed to get a sports hernia surgery that year in December, and basically that could have been the cause, or not the cause, but that was, I guess, the pain I was kind of feeling in my groin, and I kind of accidentally found this cancer. So you know, that injury and everything, this could have really helped me, or saved my life, let's say. So fast forward a few years, my hip still wasn't really right, and had to get another hip surgery, or a hip labrum kind of cleanup surgery this past January. So being
I think we should tell people that when you had the sports related hernia, that they actually removed your inguinal nerve, which is a nerve that supplies your upper thigh and lower abdomen. So you were skating without really having sensation in a part of your groin.
yes, and so I had to. Unfortunately, this season wasn't the greatest season for me, having not being at my healthiest, and needing to get a season-ending surgery in January. But happy to say right now I'm feeling as healthy as I have since I was probably 19 years old. I'm 24 right now, so it's been a long road, and you know, I give so much credit to what you've brought into my life, and the lessons, and the library that I, you know, continue to. I do an ATM lesson pretty much every day, so um, and about
Let's take a moment before we go into that, and let's talk just for a moment about when I came to Chicago. You were struggling with a lot of pain in your hip, and so after the first session or two, we helped you get to the place where you could skate a little bit more pain free, a little bit more freely, but we couldn't really dissolve the pain at that point.
yeah, my hip had some pretty bad damage that needed to be surgically repaired, basically. But
Right.
one thing I took away from just working with you on that trip was um, how much my day to day could help or hinder the pain in my hip. Just the way I walk around, how many steps you take throughout the day, or just certain times turning that we worked through on the ice, and kind of how I was jamming my hips. So there was definitely a light bulb that went off, and unfortunately I kind of had already gotten to the point where I needed surgery, but
Right.
there's definitely kind of a light bulb after that trip.
So we not only, but when I work with you, we don't only just work with your physical injury or your recovery from physical injury. We also worked a lot with sort of a maturational aspect, a way of you being emotionally much more available to really, really difficult emotions, but being able to find your way through those emotions with some kind of an integrity or an autonomy within yourself. I remember we had a very, very difficult session that lasted a good part of an afternoon before you could kind of come through the emotions into a kind of a state of calm and a sense of being really available and present to yourself. Do you remember anything about that afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I mean, pain and instability definitely kind of brings that dark cloud over you, and kind of you move into a place that's not a present state of mind. And you know, I think the work that we've done over time for sure has really helped me. Just even the breathing, the stability, just always kind of being in control of your body translates also into your emotions, and just knowing that you know, things will pass, and being kind to yourself, and not being overly hard on yourself, because we're all just doing the best we can.
I remember very well that in that we finally, after a long, long afternoon of sitting together, we finally got to the table for what we call functional integration in the Feldenkrais method. And after that lesson, you entered into almost a beatific quality of quiet and calm within yourself. It was as a contrast to how deeply emotional you were when you came back and you were in such pain after your practice, and so much disappointment. You had so much disappointment to deal with, because
Absolutely.
obviously we couldn't create a miracle. We were only helping you find a sense of autonomy and the support for yourself. But as you said, the damage was really so great that you did need to have the surgery in fact, it was quite a process for you to even find out whether it was another sports related hernia or whether you needed the labral surgery that you had. I remember you had a cortisone shot, and the cortisone shot took care of the pain in your hip, so that the doctors were able to diagnose accurately that you actually had a labral tear. It wasn't a sports related hernia process again.
Yeah. And getting back to just getting off the table from that session with you, it's just, you were able to just calm my whole nervous system down, and I was just able to really just feel just a true sense of having no pain, and just a pleasurable, agreeable sense within my own body and kind of my being at the moment, which is a really beautiful thing when you get off the table.
So we have to remind you that it wasn't me. I'm the person who provides the environment in which your own nervous system can find the answers for itself.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So and we've had lovely FI sessions since. I came to your family's house during this last year, and I spent some time at your house giving lessons to your brother, to your sister, to your father. And I wonder if you could reflect for a few moments on some of your experience in those lessons, and what was it that we worked with that was sort of the underlying, what were some of the principles that we worked with that have to do with you being able to skate with the kind of freedom that you want? Do you remember?
Yeah. We worked a lot within the ribs. One side of kind of my ribs were we're not turning the same as the other, and I was kind of moving out this way instead of being able to kind of find find the midline in my body and spiral around it. And we worked on, I guess, some balance and kind of just always finding stability and finding control in every moment. And that's one big thing I notice when we did a FI lesson, or sometimes after doing a lesson, is kind of that feeling of being in control at every little instant throughout walking or participating in sports or just kind of living day to day. So it's a really great feeling.
Well, the whole question of really being able to trust and find the support from the surface you're on. Feldenkrais, he had an idea that a good posture is the freedom to move in any direction without hesitation or preparation. But there's a corollary to that, and that is that ability to act is dependent upon how specific and how clear you are in finding or actually interacting with whatever surface you're on. And of course, you as a hockey player, when you're playing in such a gliding, moving, dynamic process, the process for you to continually find the sense of support from through your skates up through your skeleton, and to find the kind of freedom to be able to move in the 360 degrees that you experience in playing. So that was a lot of the lessons, was to help you continually find a sense of your skeleton. Can you, and it's funny because it's not something that's generally understood as to how we sense our skeleton. Can you tell me a little bit about how it is that you come to find and sense your own skeleton? Because for most people, it's such a nebulous idea. And what's the advantage of you sensing your own skeleton in the way that you function?
Absolutely. Like I feel like I have just a way higher and greater awareness of where I am in space, kind of in my own image of movement, and just the clearness of my skeleton, but also kind of how connected everything is, and how the map of your body, how the counterbalance of the limbs and just the image of it in my head now is way clear.
So I have a library of over 280 awareness through movement lessons. And some of the people in the public won't know what awareness through movement lessons are. But can you describe in your own words what awareness through movement lessons are?
Awareness through movement, I would say it's a chance to explore yourself in a very safe environment. And basically you're lying on your back, and it's a recording. So I'm listening to you, the instructor, and or the teacher, and I'm just kind of following your commands, and I'm learning myself through kind of how you're directing myself to move through the lesson. And I'm making small connections the whole time, and really kind of picking things up, like, oh, I didn't really realize that on this side, um, I'm able to roll more clearly, or I'm able to sense this more clearly, or today, I'm able to breathe more fully on this side of my body than the other side of my body, and just kind of really um, putting the image together, and learning and feeling safe, and um, it's a great chance to seek new possibilities within yourself.
Yeah, it's hard for people to understand that because of the exercise culture that we're in, or the culture where people have a model in front of them of someone doing something like a yoga posture or a Tai Chi process, that this process doesn't have anyone demonstrating what you're looking for. And yet these lessons have within them a functional value. They always relate to some way in which you orient yourself and activate yourself to be in the environment, in space. And gradually the process is there in order to help you have a much more refined neurological map of what's possible for yourself. Can you describe for yourself, for the people that might be listening, to how these lessons have helped you? You're now skating again. You're playing golf again. You're active again. So can you help the people understand a little bit as to how these lessons, the over 250 lessons that you've done, or however many lessons that you've done out of the library, like you said, on a daily basis, what have they provided for you that you're taking into camp now as you're going into your training camp coming sometime in the next week or so?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm almost at 250 right now, so I'm
That's
done
incredible.
done many hours, and I've really enjoyed participating in the lessons. But first of all, just an element of safety, and like we said, just being in control at every moment, feeling more safe on the ice, feeling a greater connection with my environment, um, a new
What
sense
does
of.
that mean? What does that mean specifically? I mean, in the organization of your eyes, the organization of yourself to sense the space that you're. I mean, as a hockey player, you're covering 10 feet per millisecond. You're skating backwards and forwards. You're playing a geometrical game where you're playing with a stick, a puck, a biscuit. You're bouncing pucks off the walls. You have 5 other guys that are attempting to take you off of your line. So it's not a simple game that you're playing. So maybe you can tell me, because being in touch with your environment, this is a very, very dynamic environment that you're in touch with.
Absolutely. Well, having the balance and stability where I'm not just falling into myself or skating as fast as I possibly can, and I more or less have a different sensation of just constantly being connected to the field of the game, or my other 4 teammates on the ice, or kind of my positioning within the arena, and just kind of having more of a feeling of the game slowing down or being more in the zone while I'm playing.
Can you tell me about how your eyes, the organization of your head and eyes over the time has changed? The ability for you to actually use your eyes and to organize your head to be able to turn. We talk about all the time of having your head on a swivel, but that
Yeah,
means, of course, that you have to have a skeleton underneath you always to support you, so that can be the case. How is that coming about for you? How do you experience that?
I just have way more support throughout my hip joints, and the soles of my feet and my skates, and I kind of have a taller sensation, and um, kind of that ability just helps my eyes be more free to look around while I'm playing, and just helps my head or shoulders or hips be able to move independently, if I please, and just I have more options out there is one way I could describe it.
What's happened with your stick control, your ability to organize and move on the ice with the kind of high level of dexterity and manipulation that you have? Because every moment in hockey is uncertain. There's never a certainty. It's not like a regulated process of someone running the hurdles around the track where everything is set so that you learn a set kind of dexterity. But this is a dexterity that's in a continually changing environment. So what's happened with your ability to really manipulate yourself, the stick, the puck, your ability to maintain a sense of yourself with the puck as you're moving in this crazily, very, very busy environment? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think I feel more heightened sensitivity kind of throughout my hands and my body, and I think this is something that all athletes or all great athletes should strive for or seek out there. And you're kind of, I felt like when I was injured or lacking this stability or control, that I was always in fight or flight mode and not really able to to kind of just play the game and move about as I please, and kind of just kind of had less of a sensitivity out there. And it was all just trying and working and more fatiguing.
Yeah, that's so telling. And of course, there's another aspect of this, which is the degree to which you found some kind of stability in your own internal life. I mean, you're dealing with the uncertainty of not knowing still as to what your hockey future is going to be, but maybe you can tell me about something about your sense of yourself relative to the uncertainty that's a part of the maturation process, isn't it? The ability to meet the uncertainty of our times,
For sure.
yet meet it with resource. So tell me something about that. Something of your experience.
I mean, I'm dealing with a lot of uncertainty with hockey right now. I've basically just signed a tryout with a team, and there is uncertainty whether I will, be able to or be chosen to play the whole season, or where option B would be. But it's really something that I'm at peace with my game. I'm at peace with my abilities. I would say, of course, there is pressure and nerves and everything, but I'm way more able to control that and just focus on myself and be able to just put my best foot forward and accept whatever comes my way. I'm happy and healthy, and that's that's just, it's a great feeling day to day to have your health. So I'm really grateful for that right now.
And tell me about your horizon, the big picture for you. Where does your life go at with all of this? What's the life the I don't know, the curiosity, the inventiveness that you're going to come into in your life? What's the big picture for you?
Well, I think just the quality of my life has really improved already. So, if you would have asked me this before, I would have said, play in the NHL, and I wouldn't have really been able to say much past that. And of course, it's still a huge dream of mine and a huge aspiration and of mine to play in the NHL, and I'm willing to do whatever I can to to maximize my potential at seizing these dreams. But there's so much more to just the quality of my life and the rest of my life outside of hockey, and hopefully being able to tell my story and help others, and have a family one day, and all that. So I'm feeling very optimistic, and at times in my life I haven't felt as this way, or of this quality. So it's an exciting time for myself.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Anything else you'd care to share or to add? A little icing on the cake for us, or a little cherry on top to just tell us a little bit.
I mean, I think it's been a great discussion, and I've I've really I've really enjoyed participating in the lessons, and it's just one of those things. It's become a part of my life now, and I think there's so much good to the Feldenkrais method. There's I feel like I can breathe better. I feel like it helps me sleep at night. I can find um, I have way greater sense of self-observation throughout myself. Um, I think it's helped my focus. So I think it's really helped me in a lot of different areas of my life. That you know, sports and hockey is one thing, but just the quality of my overall life has definitely gotten a lot better from your lessons and being involved. So I thank you.
Well, I thank you, because one of the things that's so much fun about this is that it's not so much a relationship, a teacher-student relationship, as it is about two people being in dialogue about what is the potential for every human being, or in your case, what's the potential for you to be to bring forward the human being that you really are. And so it's my honor to have the opportunity to be in these discussions and dialogue with you when we do meet. So,
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much,
all right. Stelio, thank you for spending this time with me. I'm really appreciative.
Jeff. It's a real pleasure.
All right. Love you, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right.